Hi, and welcome back to how to kill a trigger video. There are two things that you need to note. First is before you start this, you really need to make sure that you've found your primary trigger. This isn't going to work unless you've done that. And again, as I say on the last video, if you need some help, just click on the link and I can help you to find that if you're not sure that you have. You will know when you found it. It's an unmistakable experience. So, you will know. And the second thing is, once you have found your primary trigger, you're going to be quite sensitive to that trigger for about 24 hours after finding it. So if you go into a situation where it's triggered, it will trigger easier just for about 24 hours. After that, it'll start to calm down. And before I devised this method of dishabituating or killing triggers, that's all that I used to give people, and over time it used to calm down completely. So let's get going. The thing that we're going to be using is music, and actually what we're going to be doing is using one trigger to kill another. So before we start, what I want you to do is I want you to make a playlist up of 6 to 8 up tracks, what I call up tracks. Now up tracks are the kinds of music that really get you going, and there's kind of 3 rules about up tracks really, and these are the kinds of music that you need. They need to be motivational, so that when you hear it you start to feel good, that they're fairly high energy and upbeat so that they do get you going, and that you like them. Do not use relaxing or calming tracks. They're not powerful enough to overpower your primary trigger. And of course, you can make a playlist on your computer, on a smartphone, using an iPod or an MP3 player. You can make a CD, or you can make a tape, or you can even line up a series of tracks on something like YouTube. So go and find the tracks that you like, make a playlist out of them, and then you can do them that way if you've just got a computer. And here are the steps. It's quite simple, and you'll like this. It's a really nice thing to do. So the first step is just go and find somewhere where you're not going to be disturbed for about 20 minutes and sit down. You want to sit down with your MP3 player or whatever it is ready to go. And the first thing that you need to do, so step 2, is I want you to think through the situation. So start at the first pre-trigger, and then go to the next one, go to the next one, go to the next one. So go through the whole event leading up to the primary trigger. And that's important, because what's happening is you're sensitizing yourself. And so you start at the very first primary trigger whenever you start to feel the first kind of flush of the nerves, and really get into it. See it, hear it, feel it. I want you to really get into it. Really, I want you to notice the feelings where they are, and I want you to notice them escalating up your torso and into your neck if that's where the trigger is for you. And then what I want you to do is play the trigger that we've found, and to get to the bump. Okay, so you do that once, no music, just do that on its own. And then what you do is you repeat the process again, but this time once you've got the first pre-triggers going and you're starting to feel the kind of low grade nerves, then push play on the first track. So keep thinking through the scenario whilst the first track's playing in your ears. And then once you've triggered the trigger, just sit back and enjoy the rest of the track. Don't think about the scenario, just get into the music. And then when that track finishes, you start again on the second track, and you start at the first pre-triggers, start to get the feeling. Once you get the feeling, push play on the track, work through all of the pre-triggers up to the primary trigger, trip the primary trigger, relax, and listen to the rest of the track. And you do that for each of the tracks. So you're going to be doing this in each section. You're going to be doing it 6 to 8 times. So just to recap, you go through it on its own without the music. Then you go through it, and then you go through the pre-triggers. As you start to feel the low-grade nerves, push play and go through it with the music playing in the background. And then once you've hit the trigger, just relax and listen to the music. And do that for each of the tracks, one after another, and make sure it's the different tracks, okay, one after another, until you've completed each set. And what I want you to do, there's kind of 2 ways. It depends on how powerful you feel the trigger is. So the first way is I want you to do it for 4 days. So one set, at least one set a day. And a set is the first go without the music, 6 to 8 goes with the music and different tracks, 6 to 8 tracks. And then what I want you to do, so do that for 4 days and then have a rest for a week. Don't do anything for a week, and then do 4 more days. Now, if you feel that it's a really powerful trigger, double that. So do 8 days, then leave a week's gap and do 8 more days. And once you've done those sets, so either the 4 on, a week off, 4 on, or 8 on, a week off, 8 on, then just have a rest for a month. Don't do anything for a month, okay? And then just do the trigger killing for 1 more day. Do 1 more set at the end of the month. And I've never had anybody come back and say that the triggers come back after that. And you know, this is the formula. So it's 4 days, a week's rest, 4 days, 1 month's rest, and then a day. And if it's really powerful, as I say, then 8 days, 1 week's rest, 8 days, 1 month's rest, 1 day. And as I say, I've never had anybody come back and their triggers come back after that. And what we're doing is we're flooding the trigger with some nice triggers, the music triggers. Now you must have 6 to 8 different tracks, because if you don't, what'll happen is it'll work the other way around, and you'll associate the anxiety with the music. So every time the music plays, the anxiety will go, and you don't want to do that. That's why you need at least 6 to 8 tracks. And again, if you need any help with this, just click on the button and I can find it, or I can help you through this process. Okay, so what we're going to start doing now, once you've done that, so we'll then start to have a look at a whole series of what we call emotion regulation techniques. So things that will work in the moment to bring your anxiety down. If you find yourself in situations of anxiety, they're anxiety management tools, and they're emotion regulation tools, so they'll enable you to calm down, usually within a couple of seconds. And I'll see you on the next video. Take care. Bye.